in 2018, I went to Ghana for the first time, my first trip to Africa. Ironically, I was supposed to go to Zimbabwe first, but then yeah, yeah. I had some friends who were journalists because at the time, let me go back. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah, please,
speaking of
please
big
go back.
things.
We did it. We did all the information. Go ahead.
Yeah, about 2000. So while I was working at the station in New York City, which I cannot remember the name for some reason. Anyway,
We will figure it out later.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. 9 years, I can't remember the station. Anyway, right.
Hey, come
So,
on, don't feel bad about it. Because there are a lot of information in the head. You cannot remember everything. Don't worry, it will come on its own. Don't worry.
okay. No, I won't force it. I won't force it. I won't force it. So, yeah. So back in 2004, maybe about, I started. I got signed to Madison Park Radio Networks, and from there we had a syndicated show for about from 2004 to 2015. Yeah, 2004 to 2015. First, we started in Ghana, and then we expanded to Zimbabwe, Nigeria, South Africa. I know Gambia was one. There were about 10 stations across the African continent. And then in 2015, because I was working here on Slam 101 in Barbados while I was going to school at University of West Indies, I quit radio altogether. I was tired because remember, I started when I was 15. So I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm tired. I don't want to see another radio station. I'm keeping it moving. And then in 2018, I went to Ghana. And ironically, when I was in Ghana, people actually recognized my voice. And it was so much
That's
so.
important.
They didn't know, yeah, they didn't know my face, but people were like, I
We
know that voice.
had it
You
before.
know? Yeah, you know that voice. And they couldn't pinpoint where. But when I let them know, they was like, what happened to you? Why did you take off the show? I used to listen to you every Sunday. And I said, well, it's been 15, it's been over 30 years. Can I take a break? And they and they said, no, 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 we want you back on radio. So actually in 2019, we resumed, actually no, 2018, actually is when I got back to New York City. Um, we resumed the show. Now, normally the show was called Hot Wired, and Hot Wired was just me, myself, and I in terms of DJing. But since I've been out the loop of the music and knew nothing of the music because I had devoted myself totally to history and the field of research, I had a new DJ. And his name was DJ G. He's a great DJ, phenomenal DJ. And he became my resident DJ for the show, which was rebranded to Purifier. And then Purifier was heard in about 6 different African countries. And I think we had over, I would say probably over 10 million listeners per week. And then I said, okay, that's it. August 11th, my birthday. That's it. I'm done with radio. I don't want to see another radio station. I'm not planning to come back anytime soon. Eh? so, so yeah, so that's the whole radio situation. I ain't gonna lie to you though. I was watching a show and last night, and they had it was part of the scenes were in a radio station. I started to feel a sort of way, so don't be surprised if you hear me back on the radio soon, because I started to miss it a little bit, just a little bit. Anyway, but if I do come back to radio, it would totally be for it would be about culture. It'll be about interviewing people of historical and cultural significance. If anything, that's the route I'll go, because I'll be quite frank, I'm not very happy with the music today and where it's going. And that's one of the reasons why besides being in the radio for about almost 30 years, I just got tired of the lyrics. And being a historian, know who we are, where we came from. I just couldn't endorse that kind of music anymore.
Can you
So
speak more about that? When you say you don't like the music, you don't like where it's going. Can you explain that a little bit? What do you mean by that? Is it
okay.
that the message is wrong, or they are not laying emphasis on where they're supposed to lay emphasis on?
Yes. Well, see, when I grew up and when I was working in the industry, we had people like Karis One, we had people like EPMD, we had people like, Public Enemy, and there was always a balance. You always had that go-to music that promoted peace and love and unity in our history. Now I find it's just amalgamation of songs that degrade women, promotes violence, and I just even with dance hall and hip hop, and I know there are other genres like reggae music. Reggae music, definitely um, promotes love and unity and peace. And there are hip hop artists who do that. But unfortunately, they're not the ones getting to play. And unfortunately, when we do try to promote that kind of music, it's like people don't want to hear it. The audience, that's not what the audience wants to listen to. So what I did was actually with the show, I would play music, but then I will also counteract that or counterbalance that with, a bit of positive information, like in terms of historical content, or let them know that look, you could do anything in life, and to love your brother, love your sister. I'll always counteract that message. So this way there was some form of balance in terms of the energies. But personally speaking, the music used to motivate me, and it no longer does. I'll be very frank. It no longer does.
You had this radio program where you were talking to the base, let's put it like that, because you were talking to the people in Africa and also up to the point that they even know your voice, they recognize you very well. So I'm trying to understand what provoked you to do a thing like that instead of maybe concentrating on people that are living in diaspora. Why was it important for you to take that step?
Because we're working in radio and working on syndicated radio actually in New York City. New York City, not New York City, sorry, America alone is saturated. And the good thing about Afro beats now, Afro beats have become one of the main musics, which I love, by the way, in the United States. So there are a good number of syndicated shows that already promote African music as it is in the US. So with that said, I didn't see the need to do that in terms of promoting African music in America. Um, but I realized that there was not a connection from the Caribbean to Africa in terms of radio wise. Yes, y'all play dance hall music. Yes, y'all played reggae music, but there was like no representation per se. Like, actual Caribbean person from the Caribbean. Don't mind the accent. Don't mind I have an American accent. That this from the Caribbean that can connect with the people in Africa. So, and plus Africa is my love. I love everything about Africa. I
All
love,
right,
and
that's good.
if I could learn every language, I would. If my brain could store every African language, I would learn every last one. I love Africa.
That's great. That's great. Is the motherland, so we have every reason to love it. That is where we are coming from.
Yes,
All right.
yes,
Now,
yes.
what about the feedback? Like, you know, I mean, now you are looking at the mirror, is project your image back to you, So when you are doing this program, you are talking with people that are on the other side of the world, no? Because you are in New York, or maybe even if you were maybe speaking directly from Barbados, what did you see as a projected image back to you? What did the people say back to you that are maybe listening to you in Ghana or in Nigeria or in South Africa?
They love the music, and they would always ask me what part of Jamaica is Barbados in. I'm like, Barbados is a totally different country by themselves, and that's another reason why I also wanted to represent Barbados too, because everyone knows Jamaica for their music and the food and the culture, but when it comes to other places like Antigua, people might know Trinidad because of Marshall Montano. Some people know Barbados due to what's his name? Eddie Grant. Eddie Grant put Barbados on the map, as well as Alistair Hines, Edwin Yearwood. These are some people that Africans would know if they follow the soca trend. But yeah, I wanted more representation of the Caribbean, not just with Jamaica or Trinidad, but of the other Caribbean islands within Africa. So they were very always curious as to where this place was and what do we know, like how does the Bayesian sound like, just information about our culture basically.